So I think we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new decade and to season 2 of the MakerCast live show. So it's season 2, episode 1, and we're back to Bitluni's lab. And MakerCast live show.
Again. Lady, is that you?
I messed up all times. Okay, so and we are back, and we have super cast here again. You know all the people already if you followed the MakerCast. A complete episode list is in the description, and also all the links to all the channels and the social media of the people. So let's start with introducing the people. Let's start with Liz.
Hello, my name is Liz. My channel is Blitz DIY, and like all these guys here, I do a lot of electronics, 3D printing, etc., etc.
etc. These intros are getting shorter.
David.
Hi, I'm David Watts. I run a YouTube channel, and I'm kind of a maker that makes a wide range of stuff, mostly electronics based, but some of it's 3D printing and Raspberry Pi stuff.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Dave?
Yeah, hi, I'm Dave Darko, and I do PCB art, and sometimes I build things with laser cutters and 3D printers.
Cool. Seon?
Hey everyone, Seon, Unexpected Maker is my YouTube channel, and I'm a clone of Dave, because, well, except for the PCB art, I'm not very good at that. And I do electronics and laser cutting and 3D printing and whatever projects, anything that takes my fancy in a particular week. Yeah, all sorts of stuff.
Okay. And if someone doesn't know me, since it's my channel, you probably saw me doing lots of do with LEDs, electronics, PCB stuff, and but also like motorized stuff and such. So I'm a YouTube maker, let's say. Okay. That's for the introduction, and since this is a special episode, I thought we might want to take a look back on 2019 and take a look at our projects and achievements and how we thought the year went, and let's see how everybody did this year. So let's start with Liz.
Hello. Okay, I do have notes, very professional, on a post-it.
Cool.
So this year, I didn't realize until I was doing kind of my end of year Q&A video that I had like a surprisingly pretty intense year. My book came out, and as a result, I went to Maker Faire, gave a talk on it, presented my slides on the Tinkerboard, which was probably a little unnecessary and added just an extra level of stress, but it was exciting. And then for projects, I worked on probably my favorite project, even though I only kind of got it to prototype stage, was porting some MSG Q7 code, which is this 7-band graphic equalizer chip from Arduino CircuitPython, and getting it onto an LED matrix. And I actually put that video on David Watts' channel when he was away on holiday in Japan. So that was probably my favorite, and I want to definitely revisit this in 2020. I also did a lot of guitar pedal teardowns, and that actually let me have an opportunity to speak with Matthew Farrow of Alexander Pedals, and we actually did a teardown together of their new Marshmallow pedals. That was really fun. He talked about how he approached pedal design and electronics and coding and everything. And I also got to have a video go live the day the Raspberry Pi 4 came out, and did a bunch of benchmarks for that, which was stressful. But it worked out in the end. And then Electro Smash, they're a guitar pedal company out of the UK. They had 2 pedals come out this year. The Time Manipulator, which is a delay chorus pedal, and then this one, which is an LED matrix, which they released around the same time I was working on this. So it was a nice kind of segue. So I got to do videos with them for that. And then towards the end of the year, with Adafruit, I worked on the code for the camera slider, which was really fun and probably the most intense coding I've done with CircuitPython, just because you had the graphic display and also the timing for the stepper motor and everything. And I'm also excited to use this in my video production going forward. And my last project of the year is behind me, it's that Christmas tree that I did with woodworking. And it's got some NeoPixels. It's all Bluetooth controlled. Let's see if I can change up the effects live. Yeah, there we go. Got some red and green. Some Hanukkah theme going. More fun colors. And this one's probably my favorite. I programmed in some like random math to make the colors change in random spots. But going forward in 2020, I definitely want to do more music projects. I kind of got back to my roots this year with that, which is really fun. Gonna continue on the XyloPi project, which is solenoids hitting a little glockenspiel that I've had a lot of fun failures with so far. I am working on a project that I'll start setting up right now that's an 8-bit synth, which I'll show in a second. Definitely want to do more woodworking and also experiment with different storytelling styles for my videos, because that's been really fun, just to, instead of just doing like a talking head and like going through like kind of show and tell style like I'm doing right now, like just filming like the different processes and everything. But probably my first electronics project 2020 is going to be this 8-bit synth, which this is a Circuit Playground Bluefruit, and then Feather Bluefruit. And what happens when I press the buttons, it sends different tones and also changes the colors on the playground. So for the buttons, I'm going to have these little 3D printed keyboard keys. So it'll be nice and cute. And then I'm going to do like a little speaker enclosure for Circuit Playground. And yeah, so that's my long-winded recap.
Cool. How far are you with your Glockenspiel?
I think I'm kind of back to the beginning. Where I'm trying to have the Raspberry Pi control the solenoids, like I also want to be able to kind of play it analog too, where buttons can trigger them, and trying to get both of those working on the same boards and everything has kind of caused some issues. So I'm going to need to kind of revisit some things, but I think I'm almost there. But as far as the electronics goes, I think I'm kind of back at the drawing board.
Okay. David.
Wow, before you start, wow, that
Okay,
is like,
yeah.
I just say, Liz, you work full time, right?
I do.
Yeah, that's impressive.
That is a massive amount of stuff, considering that like you're doing this part time. That is insane. Like I don't even want to have my segment and talk about what I do.
Sorry.
Seriously, that is well done. Well done.
Except
Thank you
you
very much.
did a complete Kickstarter crowdfunding funding campaign this
Yeah, I
year.
didn't write a book.
Yeah.
I'm doing this full time. I didn't write a book and get published in a magazine and like anyway.
So
Well done, Liz.
did you, Liz? Did
Thank
you
you.
write a book this year completely, or did you start the year
It
before?
came out at like the beginning of January this year, but I actually wrote it during 2018.
Okay,
From about March to August.
Disqualified. That's fine.
Liz, didn't you also do a video series for
Oh,
A-Press?
yes, I did. Thanks. I did getting started with LEDs of Arduino video series for a press, where like I went from Blink all the way up to Charlie plexing. So that was fun to do. And it's in their like video library thing.
Wow.
And David was kind enough to be the technical reviewer for it.
Cool. So and
She
how did
picked the worst person to do it.
how do you feel about 2019? Are you satisfied with your channel, with your social media, Instagram especially? I think you are the most popular from all of us there.
So I try not to really think about social media numbers too much, but I mean, it's cool that like people see what I do and it leads to cool opportunities. I kind of try to let myself just kind of follow what I'm interested in at the time instead of like trying to tailor to views, just because I am still doing it part-time. But yeah, I hadn't really taken a chance to appreciate like how much I've done this year until basically last week. So I'm pleasantly surprised that all that happened without really noticing. So I guess it wasn't too stressful. So that's good.
That's cool. Okay, David, how about you?
Well, on the opposite end of the spectrum, I haven't done quite as much as Liz, but well done, Liz. That is an awful lot. What my favourite thing of the year of 2019 was this. Was just hit myself in the face with it. Was the rotary telephone Google AIY project. Now it's kind of not finished, but it works. But I need to sort out the power situation with it. I don't know if you I remember, but I tried to work out a 12 volt to 5 volt regulator using one of these car-based things. That didn't work out. But the whole thing works. I just need a better power supply solution. So boosting to 12 volts rather than stepping down from 12. So I'd like to revisit that in 2020 and make it better. I think it's always good just to improve on what you did the previous year. Don't think it's a bit of a failure. It still works. I made a couple of badges. So I made a version of the crap badge, which was 2018, but I made a new version for Hackfest, which is this like conference in Canada. And they approached me to redesign it, saying Hackfest instead of crap. I kind of thought that ruined the badge. But so I did it anyway, and just did the design for the PCB. I was going to order all the boards and all the parts, but turns out doing that, sending it to me from China and then sending those parts on to Canada would have been fairly costly and time consuming. So I persuaded them to order the parts themselves from China, and I'd send them the board design for a lot less money. Like it was going to be almost £1,000 for everything they wanted. So did it for 60 quid in the end, which was was all right. Plus I get to see them out in the wild, which is kind of like the real buzz about the thing. And I also designed this. I don't have a working version because I gave all the rest away. So there are only two left, this one and another one that I can't find. But I made the Don't Panic badge thanks to someone who might be in the chat, but their profile icon is Don't Panic, which is from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's on the front of the Guide to the Galaxy. So that was really cool. And it's the first time I've done side-mounted LEDs that glow through a PCB. I probably do quite a few things differently now.
It was intense watching you soldering them. And
oh my God.
Yeah.
They're like half of them all the way around. I put the first one or two on the right way around and then all the rest I just reversed. So it was terrible. But it's the thinnest PCB. It's like a wafer thin PCB. If you watch Monty Python, you'll know what wafer thin means. But yeah, it's very, very thin. It was 0.6 millimeters, I think. So yeah, that was one of them. I also did this silly project, which didn't really mean anything, but it was all about learning how stuff worked. And that's mostly what I do, really. And it was these wireless power boards. Now, this was a concept I knew existed already. People have done like really good ones of these, but it was Gerald was the Don't Panic guy. Yeah. And I did some boards and I doubt this will work. And it did work, oddly enough, not very efficient. And you can buy these sort of coil modules yourself. But I decided to make my own. And so it was a really nice learning experience, something well apart from what I'd normally do and absolutely impractical. Like I'd never use it, but at least I had a go, so that was pretty cool. I learned about loads of CMOS ICs this year. So kind of three off the top of my head was the CD4020, it's a ripple counter. I used that to drive a little HP display. The CD4066, which is an analog switch, which I didn't know existed, but they do. And the CD4055, which I use to control one of those little, like a raw bare LCD displays. So one with no driver chip. So just driving it using this 4055, which is what they used to do a long time ago, like in the 70s, 80s. So that was pretty cool. And there are only two things left on my list here, and one of them is dragging over again into 2020. But Brian the robot was made at the very beginning of 2019. He's like this. Brian was from comparethemarket.com or confused.com, one of these insurance companies. And if you bought this insurance, you'd get one of these robots. You press on its chest and it would say the sort of catchphrases from confused.com. Well, anyway, I rewired the thing and put some phrases in spoken by a robot that I recorded on the computer and gave it to my best mate's kid, Toby, who's 4 years old, who loved it. His parents have since told him it's broken, but really they won't recharge the damn thing because I think they're annoyed by it. So he's now sat on the shelf, not being used, but he's still around. He likes the look of him. And the last one is the HAL 9000 project. I don't know if I can share my screen, can I? Let's see.
Yeah, you can.
Screen share this one. I think I've done it. Oh, there we go. Good.
There you go.
Okay, so this project I started sort of the tail end of 2019, and I've yet to finish it because I'm trying to figure out how to do the MP3 playing bit. Now, I want to do it with an ATtiny 85, which I've got over here. I haven't routed this board yet because it's still all on this breadboard here. And it's a mess, so there's no point showing you that because you won't be able to make heads or tails of it. But unfortunately, the IC that I was using was an AC1082. You find it on these little cheap modules you buy from China that play MP3s, and I can't figure it out. But I decided this board needed to have some kind of character, and I liked the idea of it being a HAL 9000. So that's what I was aiming for. And instead now I've gone for the YX500, which is also an MP3 playing chip, but it works with serial instead of using buttons. So that's why I learned how to use the CD4066, because it's an analog switch and I needed to switch the keys rather than having presses. So the ATtiny was going to control the 4066, in turn controlling the MP3 player. But it hasn't worked out. So that's one of the projects for 2020, but it's one of the last ones I did in 2019. So for next year, I've got something to show you actually, which I really like.
Don't reveal next year yet.
Don't go to next year yet.
Yeah, we will
Did I mess
do
up?
another round. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So how
So
are you? Are you satisfied with your interaction with the whole community?
Well, I'm gonna a little bit of sort of real speak for a second. I took about 3 months off YouTube.
Yeah, that's great.
Because I just sort of felt a lot of pressure and needed to step back a little bit. So I it didn't feel like I achieved an awful lot in 2019. By that I mean I didn't achieve creating many things, but I did learn a lot in that time. So I decided not to make any projects. I just decided to do a lot of research, and I think that it's still a good thing. I just don't have a lot to show for it.
Sure. I will be always understanding about this, getting the mind straight again and relaxing, stepping back and doing a sabbatical 3 months. That's a long sabbatical for YouTube.
Yeah, it is definitely.
It does a lot of damage to the stats, doesn't it?
It does. No. I was saying to these guys earlier that my channel stats are down like 25%, 44% in terms of subscribers. I don't live by those metrics at all, but it is an indication of what your audience is enjoying. So, and I don't want people to dislike what I put out. That's sort of the opposite reason. I do what I do because I want to learn, but I only share it because I think someone will like it. So it either shows you less people like it or I wasn't there as much. And it's probably that I wasn't there as much, I would hope. So overall, I'm happy with the way 2019 went. If all of that dragged on into 2020, I'd be very upset. So no, I'm happy.
Okay. Dave, how about you?
Yeah, so only 2019, right?
Yeah.
Maybe let's just quickly point at this because I don't know how long the animation will run. This is a NeoPixel matrix. It's like 8x8 tiles and 10 of them in a 5x2 thing. And the LEDs the panels are connected like going in a U. And that was a mess to tell the program at first, like, where's the whole thing going, and then all the mapping things and stuff. And I just lost the ability to speak English. But yeah, just the memory of this sitting there at my grandma's place, trying to find out where each LED has to go and where it is and stuff. Yeah, that was kind of messy. But in the end, I managed to get everything working for the Chaos Communication Congress. And this matrix here is now able to get UDP packages, and a UDP package is just RGB for every LED. And
Dave, what's a UDP package?
I have no idea, but I made it work. So
okay.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, no, I never really learned that, and I was looked.
What does UDP stand for?
Probably Universal Data Package.
Oh, that sounds perfect.
That sounds correct.
I googled an example C file and then merged it into the DMA Raspberry Pi NeoPixel library, and yeah, it kind of worked then. And oh, wow, I'm talking to Alexa as it seems. Anyway, there's this huge LED matrix that the C-Base, a hackerspace in Berlin, started. They used Mate crates, Club Mate crates, and put an LED into every bottle. And this is like kind of nice. It's a huge display, but it's not very transportable. So I kind of thought a smaller one would be nice. And actually someone else came up to me and said, I want to make a smaller one. And I was like building something in my head when I heard that. And yeah, this is what came out. I really like the name Club Matrix instead of Club Mate.
Cool.
So yeah. Yeah, then there were a lot of little smaller projects, smaller PCBs, but you probably remember this one.
Yes.
The Space Invaders LED game.
So
I still have to.
When are you shipping that? When are you shipping it? I want one.
I also want one.
Is it going to be on Tindy?
Probably at some point, but I finally managed to.
Oh, that was working.
Yeah, now you can actually shoot things, but I don't have any management or I'm not counting points yet, and it kind of it's still lacking, but it's gotten further, so that's pretty nice.
For me, I don't care if it works, so it'd be fine as it is. That looks great.
Same. I'd be very into that.
Okay, yeah, I have pre-packed kits, I think.
Oh,
I'm not sure what's missing in there, but I have 9 PCBs left, so I should get rid of them at one point. Yeah,
my hands up.
Yeah, take my money.
This
Buddy,
one's fun.
pal, friend.
List is always the first order in any like new gadget that we create. You're really like a
making videos for
collector.
it.
I try.
Very nice. So maybe the small shitty add-on is something that I haven't done before. Well, shitty add-ons, not really, but this is the first one that I put sound on, and you can control it via I2C. And this Pengicorn badge has a touch sensor. I just need to. So when I touch the nose, it now makes a sound. Yeah, so that was a pretty cool addition. And also it's the Osh Park After Dark thing, the new PCB colors, so that's pretty nice. Boom. Okay, yeah, sorry, I was distracted by the chat, but I think everyone was.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, I just fixed it. Oh, both of us did. Cool.
Right. Oh, it's beeping. Yeah, that was
Self-destruct activated.
small rendition of my projects from 2019.
Yeah. What about your Element 14 projects?
You said I'm
No,
not supposed
I
to
said it's
mention
okay.
them.
No, that's all right. No,
Please
please do. I think your Element 14 stuff is really great. Like the Game Boy mod that you did.
Oh yeah, that was fun. I really liked that because it was like actually programming on an Arduino and on the Game Boy itself. That was pretty nice. This one was pretty nice too.
That was super cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed having it at the Congress, and I was sending graphics and GIFs
What's
from
that
there.
again?
It's
Oh,
the,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a Raspberry Pi 4 in there, and not much else. A little speaker, 3-watt speaker, and we were watching live streams from the Congress and stuff like that. Pretty fun. Yeah, there should be other LED matrices somewhere here that I've made for Element 14, but yeah.
Yeah, like
Watch the videos.
Encounter of a strange
Close
kind
together.
of. Yeah.
Yeah, I really have no idea where that thing went. Should be here.
Is it
I have to
abducted?
probably. I will. If I find them, I will just put them at my hackerspace and show them somewhere. Like put them in a display and turn them on there.
So
There it is.
for anybody who wonders, Dave Darko, Dave Darko is one of the new hosts of Element 14 after formerly known as Ben Heck Show. You can say it on my channel. So,
It's fine. It's the same channel. It links to the same account.
Okay. Yeah. True. Okay. So and he's quite successful with the stuff there now. So you and the others like Maya makes do a great job, like following the steps of Ben Heck there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Big
like
shoes
the
to
new
fill.
video by Maya makes.
Yeah. How do you feel about that this year on Element 14?
Yeah, I've done a lot of projects that I've already forgotten, and when I look at them, I was like, I made this year? It's like, and there's also an Iron Man helmet here somewhere that I did.
Oh
with the
yeah, that one.
display in there, and yeah, the computer and the huge 400 LED oscilloscope, and yeah, it was quite busy, and yeah, I need to dial back a bit this year because yeah, I might have stolen a work day or two, and that's like not advisable if you want to keep your job. So yeah, gotta
Fine.
But your boss isn't watching, right? No.
probably not. No.
Okay, good.
But
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
he knows. So
That's even worse.
oh yeah. Next, please.
Okay, Seon.
So you just say me? Am I up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my 2019 has been quite unexpected. Excuse the pun.
Very on brand. Very
Yeah,
on
like
brand.
it went in a very different direction than what I had planned at the start of the year, in good ways and bad ways. Yeah, I've been doing like a lot of looking back and introspective thinking and stuff about it. Because so what happened with me? I mean, obviously, many of you will know that I launched my Tiny Pico, which
Recap this, please, for us. So
Yeah.
okay,
from the
so
beginning.
So basically, I was challenged by a guy called Matt Trentini to see if I can build a very small, like the smallest ESP32 board out there that was like a fully capable board that was not specifically targeted to run MicroPython, but that was a really good board for MicroPython. So it had extra PS RAM and stuff, and it was, yeah. Anyway, so I took on the challenge just to see. Well, Bitluni's got one there.
Yeah, it can focus, but I don't. Yeah, okay, you can show it. Yeah.
Seon's
So-
got a cool black one there.
Cool black. Yeah. So I took on the challenge just as a to see if I could do it, because that's how my brain works, right? You know, it's like to take on something that I don't know anything about and solve it, right? It's the whole part of the journey of being a maker, really. Whether, you know, doesn't matter what it is, whether it's electronics or whatever. It's all about discovering new things and learning new things. This whole desire to keep learning, and So like I designed a first revision, and then I kept working on it, and I was doing it pretty much. At the very start, I was like, no one on the channel knew I was doing it. But then when I announced that I was doing it, and then kept working on it on the channel, like in streams and in videos, and so kind of took the community along the journey with me, which was like good and bad, because I was learning on the fly. So I was making mistakes and whatever, and it became a bit of a joke how many revisions I was making of the board and stuff. But at some point it got to, at some stage it got to a point where I thought, wow, this board is actually pretty good, and maybe I could sell it. Maybe I could do something with it, because as some of you all know, but I mean, there's a lot of new faces in chat I've never seen before. So a lot of you don't know, I do this full time, although I'm not supporting myself or my family doing it full time. What I'm doing is burning through all of my savings at different rates, depending on what I'm doing at any moment. And so my desire with my channel is to be able to do this, like support my family full time. So via YouTube and via designing and making projects and hardware that I can sell. I don't my plan originally wasn't to particularly be a manufacturing company, but it just turned out that that's what happened. So I had this board, and I thought, okay, well, you know, probably the best way to get this out there, because I was already selling stuff on Tindy, and Tindy is hard because you're selling like one at a time or two at a time to people out there, and it's very hard to get seen. I wanted to give the Tiny Pico a really good chance, so I launched a crowd supply campaign, and it blew up basically, like in terms of my expectations. I mean, I think I was more surprised than anyone about how well it did. And so suddenly I found myself, like, it was exciting and it was daunting. I had to get them made somehow, right? Like all of a sudden people were ordering them, and I needed to make them. And so I, you know, bought a pick and place machine and other stuff, and ended up, so I always wanted to manufacture myself. I, you know, could have gone to China possibly, but I still think that would have been a bad decision if I did. And so I ended up, you know, I've made now, I think I worked out the other day, 4,600 Tiny Picos I've built.
Wow.
Wow.
And I'm about to run out again. I need to do another run. Luckily, like sales have, I won't say luckily, but you know, sales have dropped enough that I only have to build now maybe 100 at a time or so.
Only.
Wow, that's crazy.
So it's been great, but what it meant was all of a sudden my journey took a very specific direction. It was like taking all my time. I was working, you know, honestly, I was working like 22-hour days. You know, I did one stint of like 50 days in a row where I was probably sleeping 1 or 2 hours a day, and I was working 7 days a week. It wasn't sustainable, but I had no choice. Like, I had to ship the boards. Like, you know, it was my own choice, whatever. I'm not complaining, but the toll it took on me for the year was way bigger than I expected. Like, it took a long time for the burnout to really kick in. And for the last couple of months of the year for me, it's been, yeah, like I've just been floundering, whatever. But for the year, you know, I did a lot of stuff, but I also feel like I didn't achieve a lot because I don't know where my channel's going right now. Because I started the channel to work on electronics projects, but I've become very laser focused on designing hardware now that I can manufacture and sell. Because, like, you know, you kind of get that taste of, wow, okay, this might be sustainable. You know, I might be able to build a business out of designing and selling hardware. But that's a very, you know, for a one-man band, that's really a lot of work. And so I felt torn between, am I trying to build a business now, or am I trying to build a YouTube channel? Like, am I trying to make projects to share for other people to enjoy, or am I trying to build hardware for people to buy? Like, they're two very different directions, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so it's been, like, in my head, it's been a really tough challenge because I also enjoy just making projects. Like, every time I'm working on something that's got a product focus, like it's you know, there's one sense of achievement doing that, but I also just enjoy just coming up with a crazy idea and designing it and building it and see if it works. And I've got quite a few projects that I started during the year that I haven't finished that are nothing, like they're not things to sell on Tindy. They're not, they're just. And I'm trying to get back into doing those. And I've been.
Which ones are these? The projects that you started?
I haven't announced that. That's the thing. I got one that I started in February. That I've now got all the parts of. I need to finish it as of like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Like it took me all year just to get it to a point. And I just want to make one video about it like to show it and assemble it and say, look what I did, right? And all it needs now is this video. And it's like it's been hanging like a bad smell behind me. Like just get the video done. But I just haven't had the time. But yeah, it's like I think it's a really cool project, and I think people will enjoy it. But it's, you know what I mean? That's the struggling I've been having. The struggle I've been having. But I've also been designing really cool stuff. So, there was a Tiny Pico. I made my Tiny Pico Nano, which is this one, which is obviously smaller than my Tiny Pico. It's designed to be more like a module. I've got my Pro S2 that if Espressif ever release the S2 chip some point in the future, I've got, this might be my next project I do on crowd supply. So I'm still focused on that side because I need to feed my family, right? But I'm trying to find now time in my day and in my week to also just work on nonsensical projects. Does that make sense? Like projects that are there just for me to enjoy and to showcase that have nothing to do with making a product to sell. So
like my project.
Right. It's
some blinking LEDs.
And I love doing. I mean, I've done so many. How many 7-segment displays have I built? And
which one did you do this year? So you had, I remember the Micro Machines project. Was this year? That was
the Hot Wheels. No, that was last year, which I still haven't finished, right? And Flynn asked me all the time, when are you going to finish it? When are you going to finish it?
Laser segment and...
so I did my Wi-Fi clock. Well, actually, no, that was also technically end of 2018, my Wi-Fi clock. I did my new 14, my new 7-segment displays, the one with the 3D printed light pipes. So that was this year. Obviously, my 2019 badge, which I released at the end of November, because it took me that long to finish them and get them out, which is like that just shows you clearly how bad my year's been, right?
you have designed so many extensions for your board. It's like a complete ecosystem. So
it's
very impressive.
All my shields, and I'm still designing new shields. I guess the bottleneck for me was that it wasn't just the board, but I was building libraries and drivers, and I was trying to build a bit of the worst it's the worst analogy I can use, but kind of like Adafruit, they really focus on their learning. Like their boards are really popular because they put all their effort into learning guides and drivers and completing the ecosystem for their stuff. And I was trying to do a version of that to make sure that people could hit the ground running. So like every shield had example code in MicroPython and Arduino and all that stuff. And it was too much. It was way too much for one person to do. I just don't know what I was thinking. But anyway.
You learned maybe a valuable lesson how to like develop stuff like that. You probably will sort out much more next year.
Oh, absolutely. It was a massive learning experience, which is great because that's what we all want to do. We all want to learn stuff, and it was a fantastic experience, and it taught me that I can do it, but I don't want to do it all by myself. So I need to get more help for this year, whatever I do. But I need to find a balance as well. Not a life balance. Kind of like David took time off because he needed to kind of rework his non-YouTube stuff. For me, I need to do that as well, I guess. But I need to also balance the projects and the business side. You know what I mean? And do both, I think. And the other thing that it happened with the channel because of it is I think I really segmented I've got sure I'm not nowhere near as big a channel as many of you guys, but I think I've got a much broader community in terms of what people are looking for. Like there are people that come to my channel, for the MicroPython stuff, and they get really annoyed when I'm not pushing enough MicroPython stuff. And then I've got people who are coming to do the, PCB design, and if I work on anything other than PCB design, they get pissed with me. Like, you know what I mean? Like I've got, you know, I feel like maybe it's just in my head, but I feel like I've got a much more segmented community now because of it.
I think like your live streaming on Tuesday, it's like such a regular thing, and you have so many people that come every week on Tuesday to your live stream. That's like no one of the other channels has something like that. So you have like a really cool core community that you build up with your regular live streams, that people can expect to do this, that you do the stream every week. So that's what I noticed.
Yeah, like I've really enjoyed the live streams, and I've there've been many weeks where I've said to myself, I'm not going to do one this week. I just, you know, I can't face it. But Wednesday morning for me, I'm there doing my live stream. You know, I did one New Year's Day, and then I did one, you know, Christmas Day. Because I enjoy the interaction with the community. Like I think that's great. But I've been finding more and more in my live streams that I can see which people are attending which ones based on what I'm doing. Like there's definitely a segmentation of who's coming on the streams based on what the content is. And I'm also finding it hard to work out what to work on my streams now because I don't know what people want to see anymore. Like I don't know what I enjoy, and I don't know what people want to see. So I'm just randomly.
The people want to see you struggle with your stuff.
That's right. Fail big and fail often. Yeah, that's I've never hidden that, right? I'm quite happy.
Self-deprecation.
Yeah.
Evan K told me self-deprecation is important.
Yeah. No, it's good. So looking back, I've had a fantastic year. Like I really have. I just don't know what direction I'm going now. Like it's given me more questions than answers. So yeah. So I don't know about this year yet, but this year's going to be interesting because I need to solve that this year.
So you thought you would become more of the YouTuber side, but you developed like more of a manufacturer side of your career now.
Well, the manufacturing was a necessity. I always wanted to be a manufacturer, but not at that scale. Right, I didn't want to, you know, for me, if I could, you know, produce 1,000, 2,000 boards a year, that was what I was thinking, not 2,000 boards in a month. So, yeah, it just pushed me into that much faster. But it was great. Like it's shown me what's possible. So it's exciting.
Cool. Okay. Then how about my year? That was so much information now. I had also a huge, that the year was so long. Let's start. What I think the first thing that I started with was like a video about a camera, but I didn't do that one. So I just received it from Expressive. But that continued over the year now and concluded like in the video wall, live display, and so on. But I started like inspired by you guys that you did all the boards by yourself. I started to order boards in China, prototyping boards, and I started with like the VGA board. So that was quite some of code. And Liz is the first person that ever ordered a board from me. I sold like 100 of these year, and of the black edition, since these were limited, of the black editions like 50 more or something. And that was an interesting experience, like selling on Tindy. I started this. I didn't expect that I would ever do that. So and it's nothing compared to what Seon, what you did with the Tiny Pico, but I also did like a VGA board for the Tiny Pico, so that's like extension board. Doesn't sell, but okay.
Sorry.
Now that I don't mind. It's like this year what happened is that I had like did I sell more boards? Yeah. Where's the camera extension? Yeah, that sold like within one day, but I had like only 22 pieces. And yeah, the badge, my first batch. It was like the killer batch. Had a few mistakes, but it was close to Halloween. I sold it anyways, and it works okay, works fine. Learned a lot. But also my designs got more sophisticated. So that was like the 10-player game, player console, and I made it especially specifically for Maker Faire, and we attended Dave Darko. Me and others had like a booth on the Maker Faire in Berlin and Hanover, and it was cool, and we had like a lot of fun, and I took this with me. So, and then I continued like another small console, and the new one has even the USB support. So I had also a lot of coding this year, but I tried to like do the other stuff in parallel. So I had some fun projects like the LED wall, which completely blew up. It's, for me, this is like going viral. For other YouTubers, like let's say Great Scott, it's like a regular view count. But it was like we were sitting on the Maker Faire, and I had like my YouTube counter, which was this LED matrix, and we saw like 1 subscriber a minute, and that was so crazy for me. I gained like 1,000 a day. And yeah, the new video where I did this animations on the huge wall, the huge wall wasn't very popular, but it took me a lot of time to build that, because I learned welding and did this this punch to punch the 1,200 holes in the aluminum sheets and so on. But I enjoy the huge wall and do more stuff like with the camera, and that was also a cool video that was released this week. This week was crazy. I just released today in the morning another one about the USB host stuff, and yeah, I'm really stunned how that went. And I got also, I'm working, so Aaron, who was also on. We chatted about this IC here, this host IC, and then he was also 2 times on the MakerCast, so check the episodes with him, and he visited me twice, and we developed like the firmware for this chip to get the USB running, and this is like the most sophisticated design that I made so far. And it's like a mini computer, and we use that actually to develop the firmware for the USB. So it has like ESP32 VGA that I never tested yet, audio and SD card, but we did only the USB coding for that. And yeah, that's something, but maybe I might talk about for 2020. And so the year was like, I didn't spill out like 1 video a week. I thought I would do that, but that's not how what I learned. It's not how I work. So I rather would like to take my time and do something substantial and release something that where the people can take something from it. Not every video that I released this year was like that, but that would be my goal, to like not water all the content that I provide, so that people will maybe learn something or be inspired to create stuff like that, because I'm self-taught. I'm software engineer, and not even software engineer was self-taught before I went to the university, and all this electronic stuff, all that. So like this it's not Raspberry Pi level, but this mini computer is like, I learned everything that I did here this year, designing the boards and so on. So it's quite cool, and I think 2019 is the first year that I broke even. So I'm doing this for 3 years full time now, and here I went through all my savings. So I know how you feel, Seon, but let's this end of last year, like in November, I started to see like my account not going like further down, and I'm able to at least cover my expenses there, and Tindy covers at least. So that's like a community service, or this is not on Tindy, but Tindy stuff is like community service. I convert my time to for money to simply pay like the components and the stuff that I need in my lab. So Tindy is completely covering that stuff, and all the earnings from my channel, like the sponsoring and so on, went to pay my rent, and that's cool. I don't have kids like Seon, so that's more difficult to cover a complete family with your income. But yeah, I hope that that trend continues in 2020. 2018 was way worse than 2019. So I'm very satisfied also with how my, I would say, career or like my channel progressed in 2019. Yeah, I think that was that was it. Any questions? No.
No, Luna, you had a lot of growth this year, I think. No, I'm just saying, like you had a, like as you mentioned, you stopped doing videos on a schedule and you started just releasing when you were releasing.
Yeah.
And I think that shifted quite a bit for you, because I think that you're, well, it just seemed to coincide with when you started getting lots of breakout videos was when you started doing that, I think. Is that, like, does your data show that? Like when you stopped trying to do a weekly video and you started just polishing videos and getting them out?
No, actually, I don't think that YouTube helps with that. But what really helps is like I have to maybe mention that because that's quite important. If I do like only fun videos, and but the fun videos have been there already. But if I do something like substantial, then Hackaday and Hackster and other social media catches up on the projects, and then I see like I get much more people, or most of the subscribers I don't gain from YouTube. I gain them from other sites that they just visit then my videos and see, oh, that guy is doing interesting stuff, at least for me. And so there's where I get my subscriptions. So YouTube really doesn't help if you don't release like a video a week. So yeah, that's that.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, at least that's what I felt. Maybe if you don't spend a lot of time on a project, it's less meaningful. Probably, I don't know. Maybe this people like to see, depending on what the viewership wants to see. If they want to watch the progress, like I watch boat builder channels, so they don't build a boat in 1 week. So I love to see the progress and the struggle with all the details that they do. That's something. But if you expect like a complete project like Ben Heck did and so on each week, then yeah, you probably won't be satisfied with like progress videos.
Sure. Well, that's what I was suggesting before, that like some part of the community want a nice finished video, start to finish, give me the end result, and then some people want to see the journey. Yeah. Actually,
like not just ignoring the data or just doing what you are most passionate about is the way to go on YouTube. I think, at least, because in the end, if you do like the stuff that you are passionate about, you will grow your community around that. And you don't want to satisfy individual people that you have at the beginning. Of course, it's a little bit sad, because that's maybe the first ones that came to your channel, and you are very thankful, but actually you develop as well as they do. So I don't get like my subscriber doesn't watch every video from me, so I don't expect this. Yeah, and that was 2019 for me. And now about 2020, so new decade. And so what are your plans? How do you want to? Maybe we should do it less serious. Liz, how about you?
Well, I kind of messed up when I went and kind of talked about my 2020 plans already, but just one thing, I think my big thing is going to be experimenting with different ways that I make videos and how I'm going to tell the story of projects and things. I really enjoyed when I was doing like the tree in the background there, like getting the shots like as I did them and not knowing how it was going to go. And then that made editing also kind of easier because I just had so much more B-roll instead of like shooting kind of after B-roll. So I think that's going to be my big thing in 2020, and also just more music projects.
I really like that video, Liz. It was really good.
Thank you.
I absolutely recommend recording a video when you don't know what the outcome's going to be. It's a lot more fun.
Yes, definitely.
Anything specific about music, more synthesizer stuff now, and instruments like the xylophone synthesizer, and other stuff? Do you want to do more MIDI stuff?
I really want to try building a guitar pedal at some point.
Oh, cool! Yeah.
And I want it to be like all analog. So that's something I might start looking into in like a couple of months. But that's definitely something. And more MIDI stuff. I love MIDI stuff. So definitely.
Yeah, me too. But nobody watches it. But I will do it anyway. So I don't care.
Yeah.
So subscribers, you have to watch my MIDI stuff.
That's a meme, by the way. Can someone screen grab that? Looney doing that.
I have so many MIDI devices, and I love like experimenting with music. I'm not educated in any instrument, unfortunately, but just experimenting with stuff, especially MIDI. So that's one thing I want to use the USB host for, is connecting MIDI devices and then controlling. Like I have many like launch pads where you have like individual lights for each button and so on. Nice. And that's cool. Like if I can do like a contained device where I can simply connect maybe phones and then a MIDI device, and then I can do like a small synth and play like on the way or something in the bus.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, cool. I love MIDI devices. So cool to see that you're heading this way.
So can I just wait, sorry. So Andy Mouse asked what MIDI was, and then Shipu wrote back, "It's between Mini and Maxi." In the chat, that's really funny. Sorry.
Good.
Yeah.
Looks like Steven has given us our exact what it stands for: musical instrument digital interface.
He Googled that, I guarantee it.
Oh, I know, but it was...
Yeah, that was today's quiz. Like,
oh, no.
I didn't prepare anything. I'm so demanding always about the quiz, but I didn't prepare anything. I'm sorry.
That's really okay. That's fine.
Yeah, but MIDI is quite interesting. It's so old. It's from the 80s.
It is,
and it's still the best thing that it's still used today. It's like the super standard. They have like there is like this new standard with this 3.5 millimeter jacks. So for MIDI, you don't have like to use the old DIN connector. Oh. Yeah, that's like new. You can get the specs from the MIDI.org site for that. So I'm excited about that because that simplifies a lot.
Yeah, I need to look into that.
Like stuff. Yeah. Getting like a connector.
One, like you get a MIDI connector and a USB connector, and both are squished together. Wasn't that the new thing?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe that's an additional thing. But I only saw that they're like 3.5 millimeter headphone jack style that will be used, or that there is a standard to do that. So you can do like really small devices, MIDI devices, and
nice.
Sell it on Tindy. There is a huge MIDI device or music stuff on community on Tindy. Okay, cool. David, how about you?
Well, oh crap! Sorry, but before, did I accidentally swear there?
Wow.
On brand, you said crap.
No, I don't care.
So before we go on, I just wanted to say, Liz, I've had this thing. So I've got this list of of projects that I mean to do, and I cross them off if I do them. And the more I cross off, the better I feel. But I have one on here, which is tap metronome with piezo sensors, or piezo things. And I haven't done it because I don't know anything about music, but you're doing riff a day, right? On
I am,
your guitar,
yes.
which means you must have some kind of innate musical ability. Do you fancy helping me make it?
I'd be down. That sounds really
Okay,
cool.
cool. So I'll just tell you what the idea is. So this is going to be the 2020 thing, one of them. So you know those little piezo discs. I don't know how you're going to say that. Is that right? Piezo?
That's how I've always said it, so it must be right.
Okay, so when you tap them, you can, so rather than getting sound out by putting electricity in, you can tap it to get turn that kinetic energy into electricity. So I thought if we can use that as a tap sensor, we could use it like a little drum pad, and maybe you could tap in some rhythms and then play them back as like a thing. So you could decide that you have a load of different things. Anyway, I'm no drummer, but thought we could give it a go. I've bought some.
Very cool.
Okay, we'll do that. Cool. So 2020 for me, generally, sorry, chat, it was a bit of an aside there. 2020 for me, generally, is looking up. So I'm in a good place. And I've started some projects that I want to finish. So earlier I explained about the HAL 9000 thing. I'm proper excited about that. I love a cool PCB design, and I get to design some stickers as well. I can't explain how excited that makes me feel. Don't know why. Getting some stickers seems really exciting. It is though. But I'd like to make a new badge. I'm going to complete the VU meter badge. So the idea is it has a microphone on it, and it displays your ambient sound or whatever. So it could be that you're in a club, or no one's going to wear one of these badges in a club, I promise.
I might.
But
What's a club?
it's like the electronics club. And so you get to see the level, the volume going up. And it may well be that I do one of those PCBs where the LED shines through, and it's a little speaker symbol that slowly fills up, or it's a line around the outside, I don't know. But I've got the bare circuitry working on a breadboard, so everything's pretty much there. I just need to get my ass in gear and make a PCB, which is another one of my aims for 2020, is to take some of the designs I've got in Eagle, and there's probably like 50 boards in there that I've designed, look at them again with fresh 2020 eyes and go, did you really want to make that? Or is this rubbish? And lots of them are like DIP packages, which, you know, could be SMD packages now and some of these designs are like 3 years old. So I'd like to revisit some of my old projects in 2020 and try and make them better. This thing, yeah. I need to finish this, but for my own sanity and not anyone else's. So there won't be another video on it. I showed the bare bones of how to get it working. I don't need to show everyone like finishing touches. It's just not necessary. But another thing I started this week is this. It's a little tiny telly. Can you make me big?
Yeah,
Louis?
sure. Sorry. Yeah.
Right. So it is. I don't know if it will focus on it. Maybe it will. No. It's a tiny TV, like a little 3D printed TV. But the idea is, well, actually, I'll give you a little bit of backstory. So I was doing some research for the company I work for about their 150-year anniversary. And I went around and asked if anyone had any old photos in all the various offices. And someone said, yeah, we do actually, but they're on slides like this. Oh, wrong way around, slides. And I was like, oh, okay. So I scanned them in and I gave it back to them.
Can you explain this for the millennials? Oh, sorry.
Oh,
that's wrong.
sorry. So a slide similar to this kind of thing. This is... it's a photo on some digital. No, not digital. Where's that thing gone?
Use your face.
Right.
Oh, we had a donation. Thanks, Anna.
I don't know if you can see that very well, but
Yeah,
essentially it's like a transparent film with a photo printed on it. And the idea was that it would be projected onto a large screen. So you'd have slide projectors and you would have individual photos in these kind of slides. Now, no one wants to use these. No one's got a projector anymore that deals with them mostly. But I decided to make one, not a projector, a viewer. So the idea is that we have this little tiny TV, and if I'm lucky, it'll focus,
Yep.
Oh,
and you get to see the
Nice.
image.
that's
So
fantastic.
I could just slide them out and pop another one in. So let's do that now. This one is of some dude at a computer. If I can slot it the other way around. Sorry, hang on. It's not. Okay, so this is design one.
Nice.
And there he is. So these were photos taken in like the early 90s, perhaps the late 80s potentially. And I've made a few different designs of this. One of them was in this transparent PLA and it's rubbish. So I need to make it in something that's opaque, like the gray, but I want to paint it so it looks like an old TV. So it's not really a very useful project. It's just kind of a bit of fun. All it is some LEDs with like a 33 ohm resistor across them. So nothing perfectly spectacular, but I did get to play around with some Fusion 360. And I think some people, when they think about 3D modeling, like the hardest part isn't the modeling itself. It's not the using the program. It's getting your measurements right first time. So I've got these calipers, but the battery ran out long ago. So and I've just been reading the number off. So yeah, that was a lot of fun, and I hope to continue that into 2020. I might look at making a projector, like a 3D printed projector with an off-the-shelf sort of cob LED you stick at the back. But then you've got to look at lenses and things like that. So in anticipation of that, I bought myself an Episcope, which is cool. It's an opaque projector, or an art projector, you might call it. So it's a projector, and you sit it on top of a document, and it projects what's underneath it. Similar to an overhead projection you might have at school, where it shines light from beneath and then reflects up. This one is something sitting on the desk. I'm going to stick a video up about it eventually. And then that's pretty much it. I'll be looking at the HAL 9000 thing, but I'm looking to 2020 with a lot of hope and excitement. I've got a renewed bit of energy to me. So yeah, I'm excited about 2020.
Good.
Great.
Excellent. I just have a quick note on old school projection. The school I work at still has slide projectors. An instructor recently tried to convince us to let him use the slide projector. And it was a very happy moment, got rid of our last overhead projector.
Good.
Wow.
Did you have to replace the bulbs inside all
Yes.
the time? This, yeah, okay.
Just goes to show you the state of the level of education in the US. Right?
Yeah, help me. Please send help.
I wouldn't wonder if it's still the same in Germany as well. So
Oh, I don't know. I like it like that. The overhead projector, or the Polylux, how we called it here.
That's a fun word.
I think that's like a tempo, or whenever you use the company's name to name something. We even had someone who had a notebook, but he ripped off the backplate and put it on the overhead projector to actually use it as a beamer.
oh yeah, cool.
Sure.
So
Clever.
you can reuse it. Yeah, I'm always nostalgic. Yeah, that's right. Just commented on the chat. Yeah.
Nice.
How about you, Dave?
Yeah, this year.
Yeah.
I've been to Congress and I've seen a lot of. I've looked at a lot of projects of mine that aren't really done, and I kind of want to start with working on projects that I haven't worked on for a while, and projects that still haunt me. One of them is the the Game Boy cartridge with the ESP32.
Yes.
Right now it's just a cartridge-shaped Arduino ESP32 thing, but I hope I can work a bit more on the I2S
It is square.
parallel thing, and if it's not working, it's not working, but right now I can program it so I can work on it a bit more. Yeah.
Cool.
So what else? Space Invaders, of course. I need to program that. Write the software. There are so many things around me. That's my
I know that
thank you
feeling.
Yes.
yeah. And also on the other hand, I don't really want to start a new project and order new PCBs, and I'm kind of in this. It's probably end up in a drawer or in the garbage at one point. So yeah, I want to go back a bit and then just take a look at my projects. And yeah, the only thing that I kind of want to start maybe is get an e-scooter or hoverboard.
Oh, cool.
Take it apart, because yeah, as always, Congress is like filled with creations with hoverboard motors, and it's mostly like a pallet that's driving, and you can get your Club Mate crates and stack them up there and drive them from the Getränke shop. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's pretty cool. And I thought about having what's the word for it? Something that's like a combination out of the e-scooter and a hoverboard, so that you have the hoverboard in front and then you're dragging yourself on a scooter on the back of it, like a cargo scooter. And the concept kind of sounds nice, and might start that in my hackerspace. Exciting, yay.
Just make sure you have health cover before you do it, right?
I have what?
Health cover.
What?
Medical cover. Medical. Yeah.
Nine. Safety third. Yeah. I'm probably not allowed to drive that on the street as well, so it's gonna be a Maker Faire and Congress thing only.
Official, yeah.
Bitluni will test it for you, won't you, Bitluni?
Looney, you do whatever you do.
I'm not driving my scooter on the street.
It's Berlin's like 2 meters, and I'm living next to a police station, so it's gonna be like, and they're gonna take it away from me.
Everything what we do is completely legal. Okay. Yeah, but you are also looking forward to the Maker Faire in Berlin. We started planning on that, don't we?
Yeah, well, if it's happening for us, because guess who still has to fill out the forms? Me.
Me not.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No.
Oh, I totally thought it was going to be Looney then.
Me too.
It's like, Dave is gonna do it, but Dave also has to write all the texts, like, don't feed the hackers, and this is that person who will bring this and that, and so I'm gonna I always get stuck at that part, and then I'm like, I'm gonna finish it tomorrow.
If I would do all that stuff, it would be like 1 week before the Maker Faire, and then got in trouble because it's too late and stuff like that. I'm always late, so but we are looking forward to it. And we forgot to talk about, like, we have been on the Hacker Day SuperCon, both in the US. That was great. I totally forgot to mention that for 2019, and you didn't talk much about Congress, but we can maybe do this after the 2020 stuff.
I mean, you had your chance last time you were on this chat, but on the MakerCast to talk about SuperCon, didn't you?
Oh yeah, yes, I did. I forgot. Yeah, totally. Yeah, it was cool, but that was one important part of 2019. Like, I met so many cool people there. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, but it's so you didn't plan much, like, for 2020. You will just, like, do whatever you like.
It's gonna be some crazy project that's gonna pop up in my head, and then I'm gonna start working on it. That's like.
And you are not working on Element 14 project right now or something?
No, right now I'm on a creative break because I was taking too much time off of my work. So I'm still thinking about how we're gonna tackle this this year, and then if I have an idea how I'm gonna do it, then I'm gonna send in crazy projects.
Yeah, aren't you stressed about your work? You are quite busy with your job, and then doing
Oh, yeah.
the element 14 stuff is like also quite demanding, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gonna ramp up now because in March my job is gonna like start. The season for the wakeboarding stuff starts. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit busier. So I just have to tell element 14 and nope, it's gonna take a bit longer.
Okay, so your priority will be still on, will be more on your job side, not like going the influencer or the maker route there professionally.
For this year, yes. I don't know what's happening next year, but yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'd love
Seon.
to see some more movie-related props from you, Dave. I still haven't made that
yeah.
Star Blinken thing. It's right there. It's probably where those lights are over there. I haven't made it yet.
Mine is
I
on
still
my
want
wall.
to. Oh, have you got your? Oh, I need to do it. Sorry, but
I
I'd
have a
love to
3D
see some
printed
more.
frame. If you
Yeah, there was a complete video about that.
If you see, I would buy the Space Invaders thing, and it would still sit over there. But I would be really happy to own it. That's the thing. So if you happen to do any more movie ones, do share it.
Yeah. I was looking for inspiration because working on projects that come from movies or inspired by them, that's like, yeah, it's easy click grab because it's playing on nostalgia of everyone.
So it's a sort of slightly off the wall question. Sorry. In Germany, do you have Quantum Leap? Do you know what Quantum Leap is? The TV show.
No, I don't know what that is.
What is it about?
Yeah. It's a really
Okay,
old.
so
Oh.
you'd have to. I guess if you've not watched it, Dave, then probably it's pointless. But I was going to make Ziggy, the little handheld controller thing, and when you hit Ziggy, it goes meow, meow, like that. It makes weird noises, and it'd be super simple to make, like a little vibration sensor and a speaker, and it looks cool. Anyway, whatever. Sorry, carry on.
Look it up on YouTube. It was actually a really good show. It was quite a good show that they ended.
I can't. What was the actor's name? Sorry, I'm going off tangent as well. Samuel Beckett was the guy in the show, but what's the actor? He was in Enterprise.
That's a lot of people were in Enterprise, but
Like the captain guy, whatever. Doesn't matter. Move on. Let's
Only
go.
Picard.
No, Enterprise.
Which cap-
yeah, which Enterprise?
The TV
The
show
brand new one.
So, the
about
brand-
the
Well, okay. 4 years
that
ago or
blonde
something.
guy. That
Yeah, you're aware that there's like Kirk, Picard, then there's
no,
Pike
in
and Pike and Pike.
the show
Oh
called.
yeah, Pike.
Oh, Scott Bakula.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
it. Thank you. Well done. Wow. I was just looking it up on IMDb now.
Another
Got it,
quiz.
happens.
Another
I'm
quiz.
so lost.
That was a quiz question.
I'm so sorry. Derailed it because I've had 2 glasses of wine. I apologize.
I thought you were only doing one, David.
Well,
Yeah,
I
but
topped it up earlier. I just know.
1 per hour. Yes, I'm from Berlin. Sorry, I just read the chat again and commented
Yeah,
on it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Seon.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't believe in New Year's resolutions because I think they're just things to make you feel good, and then you don't do them, and then they make you feel bad. So I've I'm set myself some short-term goals for 2020, and I want to like Dave just mentioned. I want to finish off projects that are making me feel bad, that are sitting there not finished. And I'm doing that kind of as a priority right now. So like for the last few weeks, I've been, tidying up my office a bit, finding piles of PCBs for projects or products that I'd forgotten I had. Like I had some stuff on Tindy that sold out 9 months ago that I never restocked because I didn't think I had parts for, but I found a box full of parts. So like I've been building stuff. Like I was building my Wi-Fi clocks and building my laser segment displays and doing lots of laser cutting this last couple of weeks and restocking stuff on Tindy that I thought that I'd finished with. And that's been kind of cool because it was like revisiting old projects from over a year ago, reminding myself why I shouldn't have made them in the first place because of how labor intensive they were. But it felt really good to kind of, go back and kind of like, it's not like completing the project because I already like done them, but to just go back and do them again felt kind of good. So that's been fun. Almost through that. And I'm like, my aim is to clear tubs, like, because all my projects are in different labeled tubs, right? And it's not like I don't have lots of spare tubs. I've bought like hundreds of them just sitting on the floor.
Do you mean like browser tabs? No.
No, tubs like, plastic tubs, right?
I could relate to the browser tabs. I have like an open browser tab for every topic that I want to cover at some point. It's like very crowded. And I have a 4K screen now, so it's getting even smaller now.
Right. Well, I got to the point in Safari where I had so many tabs open, I couldn't open any more tabs. So now I've got 3 browser windows full of tabs. And like every time I shut down Safari, I have to be very careful that when I reopen it, I make sure my history is intact. Otherwise, I lose all my tabs. Like I've had to go to backups. Anyway, whatever. Let's not talk about tabs. But yeah, so right now I'm going through and clearing tubs out of stuff kind of as my way to finish off some projects, which has been a lot of fun. So like that's made me, not only has it been fun to revisit them, but it's made me feel good about getting them done. You know what I mean? Like you've had the voice in the back of your head the whole time going, oh, I can't believe you haven't finished that yet. Can't believe you haven't finished that yet. Why are you starting something new when you haven't completed something you haven't, So that's been good, quite therapeutic. And so, yeah, for me, for 2020, as I mentioned before, I want to find a balance between working on stuff that I'm really enjoying that has no value other than enjoyment, and working on stuff that can sustain, the channel and what I'm doing. That's my plan. And also to exercise more because I realized last year that because I used to be, really active, really fit, like running and walking a lot. I had a chat with David about this a little while ago. And just because of everything that happened during the year, last year, I could look back on my, my rings on my watch, on my phone, and realized how much I hadn't been, physical, like I hadn't been out walking or, stuff. So there's a mental aspect. There's also the physical aspect. I want to get out more and exercise more. And, I think it needs to be a complete thing. In terms of projects, though, as I said, I started a project in February last year, and I've now got everything to finish it, and it's really cool, and I think it's going to be great. But I reckon it'll fizzle. Sorry?
Any hints?
It has lots of 14 segment displays in it.
Oh. Like a Back to Future display, no.
No, it's not a
station display.
No. Anyway, don't guess. Whatever. I mean, a few people have already guessed it actually, just by chatting about stuff in the past in my streams and whatever, and I haven't acknowledged or denied. But it's a really cool project, but I've taken it way too far, as usual, as most of us do. So I'm excited to get that done, and I need to get my Rooflow Master Pros finished. I got a lot of coding. So that's what I was going to say. So, Dave, how much hardware have you got that's sitting there waiting just for code? Like you get the hardware done, it's really exciting, and then it's getting that code finished to make the project complete. That's the kicker, right?
Right.
Yeah, and
it's
that's lots of it, right? I mean, the kicker for me is that it's very hard to do. I know that David does a lot of projects that doesn't require software. Like he doesn't, he's not using micros. He's using discrete hardware. And there's something really nice about building some hardware and it works and you don't have to code it to make it happen. I'm really struggling with all the software, getting all the software written for all of my projects. That was a struggle 2019, and I think it's going to be a struggle going forward. So I want to try to find some more projects that don't require as much code to get them working.
So no new Kickstarter, or will you do another crowdfunding campaign?
I definitely want to do a crowdfunding campaign for the Pro S2, or for the alternate version of this, which I haven't spoken about, which again I'm quite excited about. My patrons know what it is, but I haven't announced anything on the channel yet. So stay tuned to something. I made something that might be cool, and it might not be. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't built it yet. Yeah, like I want to do another crowdfunding campaign because I think that it's a good way for me to potentially sustain what I'm doing. But unlike the Tiny Pico where it blew up and I had no way of making them, I now do. You know what I mean? I've got all that knowledge behind me.
Yeah, sure. It took you so much time to set up your pick and place and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like I can do a better job of it, hopefully.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to designing a lot more hardware and outsourcing maybe a lot of my software, which would be so because I'm the bottleneck right now, like of that, you know, and I avoid writing software like the plague. So.
Oh really? It's still so fed up.
Well, I've done software my whole life, right?
Yeah.
And so I got into hardware, so I didn't have to focus so much on software. But of course.
Yeah, for me personally, it's a little bit different. The software is like the last part where I'm sure that I can finish it in a certain amount of time. So there's no insecurity about that. So it's like I have to do it, but it's like if I like plan out a project, then there are so insecurities about other stuff like hardware. Will it work? Is there communications? Did I forget to connect like a ground plane or something? That's more like what I struggle with than like coding. Coding is like, okay, then I'll make it work and I can improve it later. Of course, there's a lot of software that's not very well documented, especially my library and stuff. But I try hard, and yeah, software grows at the home of the customer, doesn't it? No.
Sure, but I guess for me with the software, it's like, I mean,
It's open hardware. Everyone can develop the software. You can provide the hardware. More people will struggle with designing the hardware and releasing that, or making it happen, or soldering or surface mount stuff. And you provide that, and there are many developers that are quite capable writing maybe software for it. So
sure, but you got to have a base. Like I feel like
sure.
To release some hardware without any software. Like,
yeah. That's especially on crowdfunding campaigns. They expect like a complete package. Like you also provided all the shields, and so that convinced many people to give it a try. Because I ordered like. I have some microcontrollers here. I thought they are cool, but then I have like here a microcontroller and I don't have any software for that. I don't know what I would do with that. It's much simpler to go with something that I know already and I have the software for. So yeah,
sure.
that's right as well. Okay, cool.
But like even like for my project, like my Reflow Master Pro, which I made the decision to write all the software in MicroPython, when I had an existing working code base already in C++, because I wanted the challenge of doing it in MicroPython, because if I didn't do that, then it was no challenge. It was just the same drudgery of doing it in C++. You know what I mean? Like anyway.
Okay, yeah, cool. But Reflow Master version Pro, Reflow Master Pro. So what's improving in the new Reflow Master for everyone? That's like a add-on for like an oven, cheap oven that's so you can reflow like surface mount components. And
yeah, so I've got a product, Reflow Master, which you wire up to your toaster oven and you can use it as a reflow oven. My Pro it's got multiple thermocouples, and it's got it's much faster. I'm building. Well, I haven't really announced what I'm doing with it yet, but it's going to be a connected device. So there's going to be some sharing of data to do with
cloud,
it, which
cloud services and AI.
Okay, so I'll spill it.
Blockchain? Does it have
blockchain?
So one of the issues with the reflow is that especially with toaster ovens, is you've got. I didn't even hear what you said. What did you say?
Oh no, everything's all right. So you want to share the profiles? Okay.
So the
No.
idea is because
Yeah,
there are so many different types of paste, and then with toaster ovens, there's so many different types of toaster oven capabilities, and so just because you make a profile for your paste, it might not work on your particular oven because your oven might be too slow to heat up or whatever.
Yeah.
So my idea is that with a centralized server, you'll be able to get a share your reflow profiles that you make for your specific oven and set up
Yeah.
with other people. So
that
other
makes
people can
sense.
go and download them. Yeah.
Sharing the profile, setting profiles up is always a struggle. But consider that I have like with my reflow oven, it's like really janky. It doesn't give like the proper heat, or it's like this infrared oven. And what I had problems with is I have like a low temp paste, but it wouldn't reflow properly. And I had to increase like the temperature, but not to increase it as much as at some point it would melt like the headphone jack. So it's like black plastic, and infrared oven obviously melts that first. And so maybe like if you do like public profiles, considering like plastic parts of some color doesn't matter with the toaster oven.
Well, people are going to have to obviously be thoughtful when they're downloading someone else's profile. You got to there's a level of trust, but there's also, you need to test it first. You don't just go and grab someone's profile and say, let's reflow 100 boards and destroy them. Like,
one board with like LED matrix with like 10K LEDs.
Yeah, no, you got to test it first. But yeah,
I suppose with those things, you'd be able to visually see whether that looks roughly right for what you're trying to do, right? So it's not like straight up and down square.
And then
you'll get to see that the graph looks right first before you run it. But
it's kind of more about iterative changes, isn't it? So you get to perfect that graph over time. So someone might make a revision of your graph and make it better, and someone else might do more and again and again and again till it's sort of perfect, right?
Well, yes and no, because it totally depends on the oven, right? Like you and I could be using.
Okay. So the heating element might not be the same kind of.
That's right. You might have 2 elements. I've got 4. Yours might be a 1200 watt oven. Mine's a 1600 watt oven. Or yours is a 24 liter and mine's a 9 liter. Like there's so many variations. That's the problem.
If you have like a specific type of oven, if you categorize it by the oven, then you can select it, and the paste, like there are 2 parameters that.
That's right. That's what the plan is. That hopefully I can build a system that is.
That sounds cool. Yeah.
That's my idea. It may not work, but the problem is I need to write it. You know what I mean? So I've got my Reflow Master Pro hardware done, and it needs. But I'm still now struggling again on getting all the software done. I need a
cool. Yeah.
Reflow Master software on the server. Anyway.
Okay. Have you thought about contacting a toaster oven company and seeing if they'll make some reflow ovens with your boards in?
Okay, so one of my plans that I came up with last year that I really want to do is design my own reflow oven, based like actually sell a complete solution, but based on a toaster oven, a modified toaster oven. But all of a sudden I'm into manufacturing now, like material, like metalwork and this.
And the certification of that. What
Shipping.
happens if it burns down the house?
What do you need certification for? What? Come on. It's for hobbyists. It's for hackers. Now, the only thing would be, but if you took an oven, like if you open up a toaster oven, right, there's nothing inside it. Like there's no power supply inside it. It's just AC coming in, connected to some metal that goes to the elements. I mean, there's really nothing inside a toaster oven. So in terms of certification, there's nothing to certify. Yeah. But if you think about it, if the oven was released with a controller, I can put my own sticker
for certifications. It's
China
nice,
export.
It's that easy. You just buy the sticker, right?
China export sticker.
If you think about it, like if you had an oven and it was complete, but the only thing it was missing was the power input, and the person supplies their own power input, then there's no certification required. Let me rephrase that. I didn't say that. I don't know what certification is required. What I'm saying is there's nothing really in there that needs.
I think in Germany you would need to like shut it down if it's like overheating or something. So you have to be sure that happens. if maybe this toaster oven has this already in place, but you have like, if you modify it, then you have to test it again and stuff like that. Okay.
My oven has nothing inside it. The dial is one of those metal things that
It's a black hole.
Pressure. It's not, there's no electronics inside my oven at all.
I know.
There's a black hole. There's a black hole in there. You push a button and boards come out. It's amazing.
Ooh.
Yeah. Look, I think it could be done, but anyway, but it would be really cool if I did it, but I probably won't ever get to it. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Any other, what would you wish would happen in 2020?
I'd like my channel to grow, honestly. I feel like it's in slow motion.
We have almost 200 viewers. Please, viewers, check his link in all the links in the description and
all the links in the description. Sure. No, but but the thing is though, it doesn't mean anything if the channel grows. That's the point. Like it's, like your channel, you need a million subs to really get anywhere on YouTube these days. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so other than feeling good about it, it doesn't really equate to anything, if that makes sense. But I started the journey out wanting to build a YouTube channel, and I'm struggling with that part of it. Like it's, anyway, like we all are. You know what I mean? Like it's, what do you do? Do you focus on building your channel, or do you focus on working on projects that you like? And what do you focus on? Do you play the YouTube game and start making zany videos where you're shooting yourself in the eye with a laser just to get views? Like,
what works, that works. So Michael Reeves is like, I don't know, 5 million almost already.
The cursing is the key.
The cursing, okay, yeah. Self-deprecation. Evan Kale told me, don't take yourself too serious.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're all just mostly, I mean, some of us will do, in fact, we've all done videos that you think will do well on YouTube, but I think most of us are probably just doing things we're interested in and trying to present it in a way that people will like and it will appeal to a wider audience. But really, they're just things we're all like into, I think.
No, absolutely, which is what I've been doing. And like Liz, I want to make my video, I want to up my video quality, as in like, I want to get out of the mindset of I need to get a video made and just get it done and get it out there. Like I want to start, I bought some Edelchrome stuff, which is sitting in a box unassembled, that I want to start doing a better job of videoing and recording. And
I actually enjoy your weekly updates on Patreon. I know how much pressure that makes, that you receive like donations from people, and then you think that you feel that you have to deliver. But I wouldn't mind if you wouldn't like do an update a week on Patreon. But I really enjoy that watching that, because it's like very simple made. You're like very relaxed on that, so sure. I like watching them.
Well, I feel like I can just talk to a bunch of people that aren't expecting a nice polished video. They just, like I want people on my Patreon page. I said, you get what you get. Like 1 week it might be me sleeping on the couch, and 1 week it might be doing a rant or like whatever. But I feel like it's I want to start doing more of them on there actually. Like, not just a weekly, but getting more content out for there.
Yeah. Okay.
Lots of want-to-dos, but who knows? Who knows?
Any other wishes from the other people? For
world peace.
World peace. Oh yeah, doesn't look like
we need that.
Good start already.
Let's not talk politics on my channel, please.
You asked.
Politics and religions. Okay. Yeah.
I hope to learn a bit more about, in fact, this is to do with Seon's recent video. So I picked up MicroPython for a bit, and then I didn't really enjoy it very much. I just
high five.
Syntax stuff. So I was just like, oh God, I don't want to do this. Anyway, Seon did a video, was it today or yesterday, about Moo editor or something. I can't remember what it is. I've downloaded it, not installed it yet. And it's the alpha version, so that you can connect directly to your ESP32. So I'm going to give that another go in 2020. It's looking forward to learning a new syntax. Not exactly a new language because I've written in Python before, but it looks different to me. So I'm going to give it another go.
It's the same Python, same. But it's like it's.
I love Moo. It makes everything like really easy to do when you're doing Python on hardware.
I'm going to give it a go.
Moo's been around for quite a while. Like I've had that video planned for 7 months, by the way, but it took me till this week to get it done. But there's nothing new. Like it's been out for ages. But it's like I as I say in the video, I get like at least 3 or 4 questions every week from people saying, how do I get MicroPython onto my board? You know, why is this so hard? Why do I have to go to a command line? Like, and so, and then so I posted the video yesterday, and a whole bunch of people told me about another one out called, I think it's S02E01, it's called.
Oh,
which is
yeah.
That lets you do the similar thing. So I didn't even know that existed.
I didn't know you could do MicroPython with it. I've used it.
Yeah, you
That's
can,
become my IDE on a Raspberry Pi when I'm doing Python. I switched over to that from just doing idle. It's pretty good, but
Right,
cool.
okay. You know, it does MicroPython now as well, and it'll talk directly to ESP boards as well. So, yeah, there are a lot of options for people to reduce the barrier of getting into MicroPython. So,
Nice.
there you go. Arturo just posted the link to it, thonny.org. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So 2020 for me, my next goal is 100K subs and holding like this YouTube reward in my hands. But I'm way relaxed now than in 2019 because it's not far away, and I'm happy just to do the stuff I like on my channel, and so many people following that and liking it as well. So I'm not expecting much, and I hope it's as exciting as 2019. That's all my hopes for 2020.
Well, you're certainly going to get to that 100,000.
Yeah,
You're on like 97 or something.
I had the plans like 2 years ago. Oh, December, I have like exponential growth. I could like hit
I love
December,
the voice you're doing.
hit the
That's
100K.
how your brain sounds.
Yeah. And then last year, I definitely have to meet the 100K like at least August, and now we have January. But I'm not stressed about it anymore. Yeah,
I'm super excited if you get that award. I know it takes like months to get to you if you get one.
No, I don't think so. With the new ones, they're like machined, like they probably
they've really downgraded the quality of the award.
It's like one piece, less moving pieces.
Yeah, it's
So,
like it's
there's no people that have to assemble like the frame or something or screw it to like the background. It's just like one machined part. They have like probably a completely automated belt that puts that in the box and sends it out. But I don't know if they have my address. I think they might reach out first.
it might come to me, maybe.
They need my channel because of this copper thing that we are now threatened by. Yeah,
I think you can change all your videos with that tag though, can't you? And say that.
I'm not stressed about that anymore. Cool. Yeah. Well, I want to talk. Oh yeah, is that what's that, Dave? Please.
Yeah, I could maybe I could talk about the Chaos Communication Congress badges a bit. So maybe I start small with the shitty add-ons. I just wave with the big ones, and now you get the small ones. So there's this guy, Kuro.
So maybe you can. They say what's the Chaos Communication Congress, because many people, not all people know. I didn't knew that existed a year before.
So what's Chaos Communication Congress? So maybe some people remember LAN parties, where people sit with their computers on a desk and everyone was connected. You can take this, then you can also kind of try to imagine it's a bit of a maker fair without sunlight, because there's a lot of LED attractions and very artsy stuff. Then there are big halls where people can watch people what's the word for it?
Talks.
Talks. Yes, thanks. There are talks, and they're very popular as well, because there was one where 6,000 people were sitting in this talk. And you can also watch the live streams from that, and it's all recorded. Just Google for Chaos Communication Congress, and then you're probably gonna find the.
What was that one with this data mining, Deutsche Bahn data mining?
Oh yeah.
Did you see that live?
Yeah. That was like one of two talks that I've seen live. Because the other time, I was just running around, going to the assembly of my hackerspace, and assembly is basically, a big, it's a lot of desk where you can sit, but also when a hackerspace comes, they can totally have their own space and build like a, another thing where people can have talks and show big LED.
Small side stage or something. A small side stage or something like.
Right.
Yeah.
Something. I think there were like 10 side stages this time.
Next
to the 4 big ones, and what else? A lot of electric scooters. Everyone was driving around. It's in Leipzig, or it was in Leipzig this year, and it's a huge mess hall. For just. It's huge, and lots of LEDs. Mostly
how many?
dark.
15,000 people, or
I think 16 to 17 this year. I'm not sure about the numbers. Still have to watch that infrastructure talk.
That is insane.
Yeah.
It's like whenever something happens to that place, when people are there, it's gonna be quite difficult for every country to recover, because it's a lot of admins go there. Yeah.
So there's no one running any of the infrastructure at any companies, because they're all conference.
Yeah.
It's like basically every admin. I don't know.
So it will like destroy the complete IT departments of all institutions around the world if something happens to like a terror attack or something.
Yeah,
or
please
a meteor.
Why did I say that loud?
It's taking a turn.
So whatever. Let's get to the badges of the conference. That's the wrong one. Shitty add-ons. I hope everyone knows what a shitty add-on is by now.
Yes.
So there is a guy, Søren from Denmark, and he made the C3PO thing and R2D2.
Oh, R2D2 looks so cool.
Yeah, it's really awesome. And also, when I plug it in again, makes a startup noise.
Like
normally it would randomly play a noise, but he noticed that when it's on for a long time, it suddenly just starts to beep all the time. And so he fixed it by just beeping at startup, sadly. But pretty cool shitty add-ons. And then there was a guy
called timer overflow or something.
Possibly, yeah. So then there was Thomas Flummer, who also makes really cool badges, and he has like a sample PCB thing for your keys, where he has just every combination of colors of the stop layer and the silk screen, and it's pretty nice. It has the theme and the number on it. There's nothing else on there. It's just the LEDs, and you can control them with whatever you want to put on here. But it still says 36. It's one of the worst abbreviations for German to spell out. 36C3. Anyway, next up, same guy. Also the Danish guy, they work together on this one. It's a lightsaber. I haven't put any batteries in here.
Oh, put batteries in. Do it.
Oh.
I have no idea where my batteries are. Sorry. But yeah, that's pretty cool. It was $20, and I was like, okay, here's my money. I had an arrangement with Woody, who's still in chat. Whenever he bought something, he had to call me and say, "Hey, I just bought something. You can buy it here." So we had this arrangement of shopping, codependent shopping. I don't know. But yeah.
Nice.
The coolest badge, I think, is this one now. That's from the Mystery Hack badge. Mystery Hack team. Right. I haven't seen this show, but they used this figure, and then there's an RGB LED on here, and a infrared receiver and transmitter, and it was kind of like a laser tag thing. When I push the button here, I send out an IR message that turns the other badge in front of me red. So it was like you were trying to get other people to be in the red team or whatever. And then I think at the first day, it already formed a cult around the red team. And there were flyers like, "Oh, join the red team." And the people who made this were like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" They made 300 badges of this, and they were sold out on the first day. But pretty cool concept. The whole thing was a kit. You paid €5, and then you were in for the fun. So
Cool.
Nice.
yeah.
So I decided, can I tell you something? In 2000, I decided last year that I wasn't going to make it a badge this year, right? Because this whole making a badge every year was crazy. But now I'm looking at all these badges and going, of course I'm going to make a badge this year. Like, how can I not make a badge? Like, they're awesome.
Yeah. Feel the same. And I have so many conference badges now that I don't know, the FPGA badge from SuperCon. I have no idea what to do with that. That's
that's a lot of work.
Really cool FPGA badge, but yeah, I kind of need a project for this, or the SuperCon badge that had this keyboard on it, and I think it's over here. Yeah. So this is kind of cool, and I want to integrate it into something and control maybe a machine, or I don't know. But yes, I feel sad about these things just collecting dust somewhere.
Hey, Dave, in 2019, how much money did you spend on buying badges?
Too much. I also got this one.
Guess.
Multipass. Yeah.
It's really cool.
So if I don't know if I put everything together, it wasn't that much actually. It was 200, 300 euros.
Was that all? Okay.
Yeah, some I swapped for my Pengicorn badge, so that was kind of easy for me then. Well, this one I bought last year, so this doesn't 2018, the Mr. Robot badge. This one, that was $70.
Oh,
okay. But I expect that number to be much higher, so that's pretty good.
Right. So, and when I was at Congress in 2018, I swapped my Pengicorn badges for these two. And this one is also by Thomas Flummer, the guy who made the laser sword and the other red badge. Yeah, and the Shah gang.
Cool.
Yeah, they're very cool.
Okay, now the quiz. No. I don't
people have been talking about the quiz in chat.
I don't have a quiz. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, we got a donation, €5 from Anna. We know Anna, Dave Darko, and me. We met her. She's influencer on Instagram, YouTube, and does woodworking. Yeah, and concrete or something.
I think wood was.
Okay. And we had she mentioned our open head project that we had on. It was in Berlin. Was it in Berlin?
No, I think it was in Hanover.
Hanover, but the year 2018 or something, we took flyers and glued together like a head, and it was open on the top, and then we called it the Open Head Project, and we make a super cool YouTube video on that, and we're joking about that stuff. Yeah.
Hey, Bitluni,
Yeah.
you're going to finish your pick and place machine in 2020?
Oh yeah, that's top of my list. Yeah, I didn't even say what projects I'm planning. I would like to finishing the pick and place is top of my list. It's almost finished. I have just to do last calibrations with that, and I still have like several other project boards that I need to use that with, since I won't do that by hand. That's like dreadful to do like super tiny LEDs or something. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I would also like to for 2020 do a mini computer stuff. Maybe, I don't know if I would make it like with the analog connection or VGA.
HDMI.
And it doesn't work with the USB 32, or I take the DINSI 4 board. I have it somewhere here. I got one on the Hackaday SuperCon, and it's way more like performant. It's like 500 megahertz and 1 megabyte of RAM, 2 banks. I think 1 bank is DMA memory, so it's a step up from the USB 32. And yeah, but I would have to like start with that or go FPGA. But I don't think I will do that. Oh, Arturo, donation. Thanks for the donation from Arturo here.
Yay.
Yeah, Arturo does also cool stuff on Tindy. Check him out.
He does.
Or on Twitter. He's really
I got a Serpente delivered to the Congress.
Yeah.
He was like adding this as a shipping method on Tindy, and I was ordering it there and then got it at Congress.
Really? And you got it to the hotel, or like
no.
Delivery man came in the Congress.
He also had an assembly there with his hackerspace, but I was asking the post office from the Congress people. So there's really like a place where you can go and say, hey, I want to send this as a card, or can you please get this to person XYZ? And I just tagged them in the tweet, and they were like, yeah, sure, you can do that. And you can get a tracking number and everything if you want to. So Artur could have just got his 70 boards orders. He could have just given that to them, and then they would have delivered everything.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, he's a social guy. He wanted to shake hands.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
He's not. No, he is.
Oh, another donation. Oh, what's going on here? Thank you very much. The hookup.
The hookup. We want to do channel advertising. Everyone go visit
to a donation when you block it. Can you block a donation?
No. The hookup does awesome home automation stuff. Go check it out if you're interested.
Okay, that's that kind of hookup.
All right, I'll subscribe.
Yeah, really good channel. Everyone go subscribe. Really good channel.
Okay.
Done.
Any questions from the chat? We want to interact with the chat. We can show all your questions here on the screen. Also the kinky ones.
What's the delay time?
I don't know.
7 minutes.
It's like so we will sit there, or I go to the toilet and didn't turn off my microphone. They were like,
at least you turned it on this week. Anyway.
Oh yeah, that was. Oh, I forgot. What was the 2020 resolution I also had? Document stuff. I always forget that, and there's a lot of things that I wanted to document on Hackaday.io and just tell people how to use the things that I made, like the Penguin badge. There are like 3 versions out there, and what display am I even using? I had to Google everything and the pinouts and what pin to use and stuff. So yeah, that was kind of, I noticed the importance of that.
Oh yeah, documentation. It's always the last task. I think I'm writing code very verbose, so my code is self-explanatory. Of course, you don't need documentation.
No one ever looks in your code.
No, just scroll down the 2,000 lines of code. There's somewhere this function that explains itself. Go ahead and check it out. No, we got some questions here. Going to the US next year, this year. Yes, I think I'll go to a SuperCon again because the people were so cool. I don't know though if I want to give a talk again there because it was at the end I had like super jet lag and I was stressed out. I wasn't able to like sit down and enjoy myself there. So it was like I was like the last talk in the second room there on Sunday. So I couldn't relax there very much. I rather.
It's really stressful to give a talk. Like it kind of just.
Berlin was okay. Berlin, I was like the first talk. I was the second talk and the first. So Maker Faire Berlin like 2 years ago, and I was like the second talk, and the first one didn't show up. So I was actually the first one, and then I was okay with that. But I also made like the presentation in the night before, like this time on the SuperCon as well. So. So I'll be there to the SuperCon, I think, and I don't know what else comes up. SuperCon was also like very spontaneous. Maker Faire Berlin, we are planning that this year.
Also, Arturo will come to Maker Faire Berlin. Brian Locke wanted to come. Maya Makes and Tiny LED Matrix, Alex will also be there. So
we have one giant booth, and we have all our stuff. Yeah, but I don't know if I want to drag my LED wall with me this time again.
Well, you told me to put it into the form, so of course you have to drag it.
Yeah, but then we have some little bit more space if I don't bring it.
Get a bigger booth.
Yeah, we can just get a booth as huge as we want.
Display.
I'm
Like,
gonna tell them that we need 4 tables in the corner for his installation. So.
Oh, really? You did that? No.
I'm about to.
I think Flo S has asked. Ist eine große LED-Wand geplant? Which is, I'm going to assume a big LED, something. What does that mean?
Wall. It's the
wall. So do you have a big wall planned for a new one?
I don't know if I'm someone or I got some requests for bigger LED walls or like contractor work about that, and like the second wall was already a step up in like scalability. So how to manufacture that, and that was easier to do than the first one. And I actually started in December. I started to design like a modular ping pong LED panel that you can like scale, like attach like multiple ones and scale the wall up as far as you want. So actually, I could like order that in China and let it manufacture there. So I won't have to like place LEDs or something. So I will go probably surface mount. So there are actually plans going further with that. It was quite successful, the most successful project this year, last year. And I think I'm also interested in can I like improve that project even more and make it even more simple, like outsource more work. So but the most interesting part is like if you want to scale up this wall like to 10 meters, like one edge length, then it's already like 10 kilowatts of electricity that you are drawing for.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that starts like to if someone asks you, yeah, can you do that? And then you start like to crunch numbers and you see, okay, 10, yeah, then you have like to get the power somewhere. So you need like to pay a guy that comes there and does the power, and then you need probably an inspector since the wall is so huge, and then you need some like stage frame for like how is it trusses and to install it, and that new problems appear the bigger you go, and then you like to try to reduce the stuff that you had to work with earlier, but then you get new problems like delivering the power, and you want to use like passive power supplies, and you get like only 6 amps from an individual passively cooled power supply. Then you have to like order like hundreds of power supplies and attach them. Like it's going really crazy. But it's fun to like crunch the numbers and think about it and try to solve. Like it's like a huge puzzle, I'd say. So where did we start? Oh, we had some questions. Yeah.
Just a quick, because I was looking at the questions right now, and Radomir or Deshipu just asked if everyone is coming to Hackaday Belgrade.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
not sure that everyone is aware of that. That's going to happen on May the 9th or somewhere around there. So
May the 4th.
No. But yeah, so that's a pretty cool event. Belgrade it looks like a very Eastern European city, and I kind of like it. I felt nostalgic for it because it looked like the place where I grew up, Eastern Germany. But yeah, it's pretty cool, and it was a nice event when I was there 4 years ago. Wow, 4 years. Yeah, so people think about going there.
Yeah, so I thought, was it decided if it happens or not? It was like talked about on SuperCon, so it's decided. So I definitely.
Yeah, it's announced. It was announced on the on their podcast.
Oh, okay, cool. More questions. How many projects are in your drawer? Countless. Okay, thanks, Steve.
I have 112 Hackaday IO projects.
Really? Oh,
Wow.
Crazy. I have 1.
What? 112?
Yep.
Yeah, he's like the most famous guy here on Hackaday.
Wow.
IO.
IO, yeah. My favorite beer that I'm drinking, I had Beck's. Not my favorite beer, like Darmstädter is my favorite beer. So it's specific from a specific city in Germany. Then what do we have else? So you mean random tweets are not documentation? Arturo, I think they are.
No.
They are stored permanently. Everyone can
They're searchable, aren't they?
Yeah, searchable. So yeah. It's better than like printed documentation.
If you hashtag it documentation, that makes
Yeah.
Perfect.
Hashtag so we have to make it a meme. So check out my new project. Hashtag documentation.
Yeah.
So I used pin 1. Hashtag documentation. Okay. So how is everybody doing what is everyone doing about copper?
Nothing.
Nothing.
We don't have to.
Liz, you are like endangered by copper. You are from the US.
Am I?
So, yeah, I heard knocking from the door behind you. No.
Try for something else. No, I just marked my channel as not for kids, and if I know my government, like I think I know my government, I don't think it's actually going to be a thing.
Actually, Maya Makes was so concerned. He at least he told me he made his channel unlisted.
Really?
So, yeah. He was really concerned about that. But
if you really read it, like it's to combat like a specific malicious intent, and
yeah.
And I mean, I think just use good judgment and call it a day.
Yeah, like YouTube, they followed up with a whole bunch of questions, like everyone, and they explained it all quite well. And it seems like it's not going to be an issue for anyone
Yeah.
unless you have a channel dedicated to
Yeah,
children's
but
content,
like toys and toy stuff could be like maybe.
No, but they state that they were quite clear that says if the intent of your video is not for children, even if children find it appealing and watch it, you're fine. It's got to be the intent of the video.
And the bigger issue is the selling and targeted advertising to children. So that's really the bigger problem and how they're trying to combat it.
I think that really matters for like that killed like all the toy unboxing channels that were so successful that they can't advertise anything anymore, or at least not targeted. I don't know. Maybe the companies pay them.
They will still get advertising on YouTube. But it won't be. There'll be certain companies that will shy away from that.
Yeah, but affiliate marketing isn't possible anymore and stuff like that. So, but
there's certainly not the money there used to be, I imagine.
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I lost track.
I think what blew up with this whole process at the start was when YouTube turned around and said, if you're unsure if your channel is targeted children or not, go consult with a lawyer.
Right.
Like, they shouldn't have said that. That freaked everyone out.
Yeah.
Right. If they would have just said, if you don't know, we'll work with you and we'll help you work out if it is or it isn't, I think that would have helped. But they took a bad step forward with that at the start, and they've come back and turned it around, I think. So, yeah, I don't think there's a lot of stress for people.
Yeah.
Okay, then we had like a ESP32 security vulnerability question. I didn't knew there is one. Seon, you are always informed.
It's very specific. It's only if you're using the encryption and stuff that there's a hack for it. But especially if already they've got a fix in silicon already for a next revision.
Oh, okay.
ESP32. So obviously they can't fix existing chips that are out there, but all of their new silicon that they'll be shipping soon will all have the fix inside it. But it's you need to be using the encrypted bootloader and encrypted flash.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's doesn't affect 95% of hobbyists anyway. Like, it'll definitely affect people who use it in their commercial products potentially, but it's a physical thing. You need to physically be at the device to be able to hack it. You can't just remotely hack someone's device in some other country or some other place. Like, you got to be physically connected to it or network connected to it. So yeah, it's not really a problem, I don't think.
So yeah, I don't think that I will like install the ESP32 cameras in my my sleeping room, so I'm not concerned about that.
Right, but are you running encryption on it? Because if you're not running the boot encryption, then it can't be hacked anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I don't care much about that. Yeah, any other questions? Did anyone spot something there? Can you share your experience about the VGA library? Oh, yeah, VGA library. That's not specifically VGA library. It just started with VGA, and I'm extending it continuously. It stops like for a few months since I'm distracted with other projects. I don't want to make my channel like a VGA channel or ESP32 VGA channel, and I didn't say it in the video on Monday that with the LED wall, but I actually uploaded an update, like a slight update that uses I2S to address the LEDs. So that's really just, it's really easy to use, like 3 lines of code, and then you can let it, like the DMA, transfer the frames in the background. But that's really in an alpha stage, and I would extend it so it's uses the same classes as the VGA library, so you can use the same code to display graphics on LED walls and any other LED stuff, just like VGA, and also the analog stuff like PAL will be also included there. So everything is unified, but also compatible with like Adafruit GFX library, so you can use that wrapper that I did there. It's like the wrapper is like write a pixel, and that's all. So that's about that. Do we have? Oh,
Apparently, hashtag documentation is already being used now.
yeah. Okay,
Oh, no.
great. Okay, there are some specific questions for me, but yeah, more power. VGA takes less resources than the analog stuff, since I need like several samples per pixel for the PAL to encode the color carrier. So that takes more resources than VGA, but VGA is not widespread, so not anymore the support. You don't have an on your TV like VGA connector anymore. Okay, anything else, guys? You're like 2 hours, 15 minutes already.
Nothing more from me, I don't think.
You're sleeping already, David. You're looking so tired.
I know, it's because I've had 2 glasses of wine. Still, it has been a lovely stream. It's nice to catch up with you all.
Yeah. So
It's good to see Mr. Dave Darko back on
Yes.
after
Absolutely.
his long absence.
Yeah, it's like hopefully every season the first episode is mine. I checked the list that I made, like every other YouTube channel I'm on, and yeah, the first episode I was in there too, so I was
cool.
Yay.
Okay, cool.
very happy.
So people who are new to the MakerCast, maybe let's talk about that. MakerCast is like the second season, and it's happening the first Sunday of each month. So it's a monthly show, and it's not always on my channel, but on channel of other YouTube makers. So it's moving like from channel to channel, hopping around, and we had all these people here. Dave, did you host once?
No,
No, you didn't host. Almost everyone but Dave hosted. Hosted an
let's
episode.
talk after 1K subscribers, but yeah.
Yeah, check out the list. We had a lot of other people on there, and we had like guests. I hope we get some guests on the MakerCast again, like Jerry Ellsworth. So with her VR stuff or AR. AR stuff, and that we expand like our host list here a little bit. So people, if you're a YouTube maker and want to host the MakerCast, just contact us somehow. I don't know how. Twitter.
My letter.
Shout out loud.
Vision letter.
Send an owl.
And we don't know yet on which channel. You have just to check out like Twitter and the Saturday and Sunday before the next MakerCast. So and then you will discover where you can see it. Watch
We
it.
normally leave it to the last minute, don't we?
Yeah, we always do.
That's half the fun. Come on.
You never know what's going to happen.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, guys. I think that's enough for today.
Thank you for hosting.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Problem.
Yeah.
It was a blast having you on my channel again. And we all hope to see you next time. Bye.
Wow, that was quick.
And we'll see you next time.
Cool.
Oh, okay. See you, everyone.
Bye.
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 So great.